It's day 4 of Thanksgiving week of celebration of turkey cinema to be thankful for, or something like that. But today, on day 4, we're watching The Thanksgiving Promise. Gobble, gobble, goose, goose, honk. We're talking about The Thanksgiving Promise from the year 1986, a Walt Disney movie made for ABC's like Wonderful World of Disney or one of those movie of the week kind of things. And it's about a goose. It's a Thanksgiving movie about a goose, and I gobbled it at the beginning. That's why I said goose, goose, honk, honk after the gobble there, Karen. This was directed by one of the actors we get to see in the movie. This is directed by Beau Bridges. It was written by committee, I say, because I think there's like 7 people credited as writing this. But it's based on a book called Chester, I Love You. And I think if you just saw the title, like if you're at the bookstore and you just saw, oh, here's a book called Chester, I Love You. I like love stories. I'm going to buy this. And you find out it's about a boy and his goose. Mm-hmm. I think I'd be surprised.
Probably a children's book. I'm sure it's a children's book.
Yeah. But it's starring Beau Bridges and Beau Bridges' father, Lloyd Bridges. And then also Jordan Bridges is Lloyd Bridges' grandson. So there's 3 generations of Bridges in this movie. The budget is unknown, but I'd say it cost at least $100,000. I mean, it's a made-for-ABC Disney movie, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like big budget, but it's whatever a TV budget was. It's par for that course back then. Yeah. A TV budget with 3 bridges, and I forgot to ask you this. Beyond,
there was 4 bridges, actually.
Well, Jeff did kind of show up in an uncredited role as the neighbor.
No.
Who was the 4th?
The wife.
Oh, I forgot about her.
Lloyd Bridges' wife was his actual real wife. and
she wasn't a bridge until she got married to a bridge, so I forgot about her. But yes, I did read that was his wife, and I totally forgot about that. Excellent.
And who was the other Bridges, you said?
Jeff Bridges is, rumor has it, he's an uncredited role as a neighbor, but I didn't see it.
But did you see the third Bridges?
Jordan?
I guess. Did you know who he played?
I don't know who he plays. He's one of the kids based on his
He played Travis, the main character.
That's what I assumed. Yeah. I would think, why would you not have him play the main character? Also, the main character I would say maybe not as good an actor as Jason Bateman and Courtney Thorne-Smith.
I think they're about along the same lines.
All right, so...
in this movie, anyway.
I usually ask about any other recognizable faces in these movies, and I forgot to do that, but I've already spit out Jason Bateman and Courtney Thorne-Smith. Did you recognize both of them when they showed up?
Absolutely. Courtney Thorne-Smith looked exactly like she did in like Melrose Place.
I really thought
younger movies.
I thought she would look different, and she does not look at all different.
Well, and then Jason Bateman, I recognized him right off the bat, but the version you gave me was on YouTube, so it was real kind of grainy, and I was like, is that who I think that is?
Oh,
yes, it is.
It's the only way I could imagine watching this movie is on a VHS where somebody recorded it off the television.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was, and I love it.
But the commercials were cut out, which I was curious to see. There was another version on there that someone had recorded that was like 20 minutes longer, so it made it like a 2-hour movie. But I guarantee you that the commercials were in there, and I kind of wish I had watched that one just to see what the commercials were. Yeah. But I can kind of guess at what they were based on other movies that re-recorded around that time. So
there's a version of the Star Wars Holiday Special that still has the commercials in it on YouTube, or at least there was. It may have gotten a takedown by now, but that's the one I used to watch at Christmas time. Yeah. I could have really gone for the 1986 commercials, but this really did transport me like... probably back to the old, I don't know, back to my granny's house or something, watching this on a Sunday night with my grandparents and my mom, maybe a cousin floating around or an uncle or something.
Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. There are 2 other people that I recognize.
Go ahead.
The coach, I just looked him up. It said his name was Ed Lauder. He's been in a lot of stuff. I recognized his face. And then also the next door neighbor, the grumpy next door neighbor lady.
Imogene Coca.
No, that was not her name.
Oh, what was her name?
Her name was Anne something. Anne Hader or something like that. Anyway, she was the
She looked awfully familiar.
she
Yeah.
was the um, Child Protective Services lady, I think, from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, I didn't recognize her from that role,
Yeah.
but she did look real familiar to me.
Yeah, yeah.
She also kind of just has like, I'm sure she was in a lot of made-for-TV movies as the unpleasant older lady.
Oh, cranky lady.
Yeah, I think she's good at that. Like I think she would have been really good in the role in Gremlins. It was played by Flo from Alice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the lady gets thrown off the chair elevator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we don't really have a budget or a box office for this. Like I said, the budget at least $100,000. It looks like a standard made for primetime TV movie budget.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of Disney made for TV movies were about like this. No box office because it was broadcast television. And I just want to tell you, if stories about 12-year-old boys and their pet goose really, really speak to you, you're not going to want this one spoiled. And this is easy to watch. It's on YouTube. You can pause this and just go look for it. Watch it on YouTube. 90 minutes. Well worth it. Very well worth it. So anyway, go do that. Don't let me spoil it. Or don't do that. Just keep watching the video, whatever. As always, I'm not your dad. I kind of cheated on the synopsis this week, Karen.
You had to look it up.
I saw one online that was just so good, I had to steal it because I wanted to share it with the world.
Okay.
Can I share it with you?
Sure.
So, The Thanksgiving Promise. It's about a boy who loves something and then it's taken away from him by a man in a big hat, much like the actual first Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You didn't think that was funny?
I don't like that one very much, no.
Oh, okay. I liked it just because they said a man in a big hat. Because
Yeah.
Lloyd Bridges does wear that cowboy hat, that kind
Yeah.
of big old floppy hat in this.
Mhm.
And Lloyd Bridges' character, I'm just going all over the place suddenly. But I want to ask you about Lloyd Bridges' character. Is he rich or is he poor? Because sometimes he seems like a poor old farmer in his old beat up truck, but then sometimes he seems rich throwing goose money around. But then again, he's so poor, he's got to raise his own goose instead of buying a goose. But then again, he pays the kid a bunch of money to raise it.
Yeah, I think he's a rich guy. Huh.
That's what I think too. Because poor guys don't wear big hats; they wear regular sized hats. You don't wear a big
I
hat
think he's
unless
a
you want
richer
attention.
farmer, I guess.
I didn't know if he had like big white columns on his house or something. I'm trying to remember. It seemed to me like his house looked kind of grand when the kid took the goose over there or something, or went over there to try to buy the goose. How did you first discover this movie? It's hard for me to believe that you didn't watch this
I
Disney
have
movie as a
never,
kid.
ever seen this movie.
Because I feel like you've seen every obscure Disney movie. You
And
had
if
the Disney
it
Channel.
didn't stick with me, maybe we watched it. I don't know. But our bedtime was 8 o'clock on back in the day when I was in school. So 1986. Let's see, I moved with to my grandma's house in 1984. So
And
in 85 probably would have been 84, 85 would have been my earlier memories, but not a whole lot of like TV memories. And if we did tape it, it was something that we taped and we watched over and over again. So this might not have been one that we actually
Yeah,
like
'cause
taped off the TV and watched.
this is one that for what I read made it sound like it was about 6 years. So from 1986 to 1992, this was shown every year around Thanksgiving time.
Yeah. Like I said, my bedtime was 8 o'clock, and we didn't get to watch a whole lot of things past. We got to watch the opening of the Disney thing, and we begged to stay up on a Sunday night,
It's
and
just-
we were told no.
With so few movies about Thanksgiving, I'm just kind of surprised that you didn't watch this even a single time growing up. You didn't have like a teacher show it to you. You didn't have any friends say, "Oh, you got to see this. You got to see this Goose movie."
No, and if we between 86 and 92, we were going to my Aunt Peggy's house in Tennessee. So we probably were not watching it
Yeah.
on TV. We actually watched The Sound of Music quite a bit, like every Thanksgiving at Aunt Peggy's house. But then we were traveling home on Sunday if it was shown on the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
wouldn't have watched it then either. So that's probably why I didn't catch it, because we would have still been, gosh, that was probably like an 8-hour drive for us. So we would have still been on our way home. My grandmother would have made us go to bed early.
So this is a movie that I watched 2 years in a row,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of struck me. But then in high school, I never watched it, and
Mm-hmm.
it I don't know. This movie always kind of made me feel a little uncomfortable as a kid. You know, as a
It made me
12-year-old.
feel very uncomfortable watching it
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I did not enjoy this movie.
And especially when I was 12, I was basically the same age as the lead character when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting all these signals in 1986 in particular about what it means to be a man. I'm trying to, my closest thing to a father figure is my World War II veteran coal miner Papaw, Silas. And I love the guy with every ounce of my heart, but some of the advice he gave me will get you in prison.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no two ways around it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this movie hit me in a way that once I decided I didn't have to watch, I watched it twice and then I was done, but it always stuck with me. And that's why when we were doing this popped into my mind is like, I got to watch the movie about the kid that raises the duck. I thought it was a duck in my memory, but you know, it's a goose. And the first thing that it reminded me of is as a kid being confused as heck. Like I asked my mom, do people out west eat a goose on Thanksgiving? Like a turkey. It should be a turkey, shouldn't it? A goose is for Christmas.
Well, I think for Thanksgiving, their family ate turkey. Remember,
Yeah.
they talked about how much it
Yeah.
cost and all that stuff. But then, like, the other guy, I think, was an uppity guy, and he wanted a Thanksgiving goose.
Higher class.
Yes, I
mean,
agree. I think
Christmas,
turkey was kind of beneath him.
and he was out hunting too.
Yeah.
So I
He
don't
said he
know.
wanted a special treat
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
He was
nobody
looking
else
for
has a
this
goose.
great Thanksgiving goose.
Yeah,
So.
but you know, just because the original Christmas Carol, he buys a Christmas goose for the Cratchit family at the end. Is that what they're called, Cratchit? I feel like I made that
Yeah.
up. Okay, so goose is such a Christmas fowl.
Yeah.
This movie would have been much better if it was a wild turkey. Like the guy was out hunting wild turkeys and he found
guess
an injured
so.
turkey chick. I don't know. Do you call young turkeys a chick?
Yeah.
I don't know what you call a young turkey.
I think it all plays into the storyline of raising the goose, teaching it to fly because turkeys don't fly.
Wild
but teaching
turkeys
it to
do.
like, well, not
Yeah.
they don't fly south for the winter. I mean,
Okay,
that's
you're
what
right.
you
It
know. At
wouldn't
the
be
end,
It wouldn't be a Canadian
at the
goose.
end, he joined the rest of the Canadian geese and like to be with his
Yeah.
kind and flew away. So I don't think a turkey would have played into that.
You
story
know
very
what?
well.
It would have been pretty hard to have the same kind of ending
Yeah,
with the
I
rejoining the
agree.
flock as a turkey. It would have been kind of, well, I'll wait till we talk some more about the ending. Guys, I'll tell you one thing that I always wondered about, like what happens as soon as the credits start rolling, because it opens with goose hunting.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be funny as soon as the credits roll, you heard "Pow," like a shotgun go off in the
Oh, no.
distance. Because I would have just kept him in the barn.
Yeah.
You had a buddy there. Now, did you see any kind of laughs in this movie? Did you find many laughs here? This is really, really going for the syrupy, extremely wholesome, heartwarming kind of thing at times, except for when it's jarring and
I
has
think-
animal abuse and bullies.
Some of the shenanigans that the goose got into was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I think I laughed a little bit at the pigs at the old lady's house and how
That-
she was screaming about her shrubs and her roses and things that were getting eaten, and she was just being like,
There
grumpy
was
old lady.
a couple things the little sister said that I
Yeah.
thought were funny. Like when she said, she tell him, don't spaz out or something like that. Like there
Yeah.
was something she said that just suddenly sounded like really modern slang in this movie where everybody's talking like the Waltons. And I
Yeah.
always thought she was kind of funny with some of the attitude she had. Plus, I feel like you needed comic relief in a movie this
Yeah.
heavy, and I think that's what the little sister was, because there was enough kids they could have lost that character and streamlined it if she wasn't serving a purpose.
Well, so there was also a scene with the little girl and Travis where they were trying to teach the goose how to fly, and they're taking it up in the bucket up high. And
That
did
was
you
funny.
notice that the goose like pooped on her?
Oh,
Yeah, I thought that was funny because she went like that, and it was like white stuff coming down.
I think I heard somebody saying, "I better not find no goose candy on my truck,"
Oh.
or something like that too. That was a pretty
Yeah.
funny line.
Yep.
Now, the thing that I found that was kind of funniest was at the fall festival. Some of the fall costumes, a looked a little silly. Like they're really trying hard to make Thanksgiving costumes instead of Halloween costumes. Because, we found the only town on earth that dresses up for Thanksgiving and celebrates by eating goose that they've raised for a year. Talk about a horror movie.
Yeah.
That town would be horrific. But the duck wears trousers.
Yeah.
And when I saw the duck wearing pants, that had me laughing.
I was trying to figure out what that was. I wonder why he was walking funny.
Well, at first I thought maybe he broke his legs
because
the bullies.
He had the splint, remember?
Well, he got attacked by the bullies.
Yeah.
And then he's walking around. At first I thought, oh no, they did something to his legs. And then I got a closer look, and they're like pilgrim trousers.
Yeah.
on the goose.
Yeah.
And I laughed so hard, not because there's a joke that the goose is wearing trousers, but somebody actually had to put trousers on that goose. Like, there's no special effects. They literally had a goose in trousers.
Yeah.
And that's what made me laugh, because there's somebody who got out of bed and came to work and thought, well, it's just going to be another day at work.
Yeah.
And they wound up putting pants on a goose, which I'll tell you, that's got to be hard. They have web feet.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, squeeze their toes together. I don't even know how you get pants on a goose. I really
Probably
don't.
Velcroed or something.
Like stripper pants?
Yeah. Tearaway pants.
If all of a sudden they started playing like, and the goose pulled off the trousers and started shaking his little goose pelvis,
no.
this would have been Academy Awards, would have been swept by the made-for-TV Goose movie. Were there any parts that tugged at your heartstrings particularly? Because all of my sympathy went to the boy, because I just related to him so much as a child.
Oh, so when the bully hit the bird and he like landed on his side and you thought he was dead and the boy ran over to him and
that was awful.
But him, like, it was really sad to see that, because I was like, I can't see if that bird is moving or not because it's so grainy, so I kind of sat up a little bit and like looked like this, but then like it was a sad moment but also a funny moment, because the guy tried so hard to cry and he went
he's just not that quality.
but he didn't like make a sound. He just went.
Corey Feldman could have cried on cue. They should have cast him, or even Corey Haim.
The part that made me really kind of tear up was when he went out to kill the goose. When he put that goose down and he like held on to it and gave it a hug and he was like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. He's gonna do it.
For some reason I started thinking about like Rick and Carl and Negan and the Walking Dead with the whole hatchet to the arm thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, and that traumatized me so much. But as a child, this was my Walking Dead. I mean, this kid, and I'm telling you, I had a pretty messed up family, and this is the kind of thing they could have easily made me do, is go kill my own pet goose or something. And there was even a part where I'm like, ooh, if I were directing this movie, this is when he takes the hatchet, goes back into the house, and we've got like, this is where John Carver Thanksgiving the prequel comes in.
No.
Oh, I'll cook your goose, old man. No. I'll cook your goose. But no, oh man, I cried out loud as a 12-year-old boy watching this in front of my relatives. And
Disney has a way of doing that kind of stuff, like Old Yeller and stuff too.
Well,
you know what I mean? Where you're just like,
how do you think this stacks up to Old Yeller? That's one of my questions down there, because that's something I certainly thought of. I mean, the difference is the duck survives, or the duck. Just like I can't tell the difference between De Niro and Pacino. Duck, goose, it's all the same. Duck, duck, goose is a game I used to play. I used to play it almost every single day.
Anyway, Old Yeller, that one really like killed me as a kid, because the dog had rabies, and they had to put the dog down, and it was just something that he had to do for the dog and for the family. Now this movie, he didn't have to do it, but his dad made it sound like he had to do it for keeping his word and integrity, and I think that's what really like made me angry, is because I want to reach through the TV and slap the crap out of the dad, because that's like, I can't believe he would say those kind of things.
Are you familiar with the Bible story when God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son?
Yes.
This being so wholesome and being made when it was made, I wonder if this was supposed to kind of be like a retelling of the parable of Abraham and his son. And I don't mention the name of his son because that's a theological difference between a couple of major world religions, and I'm not trying to make enemies, but it's Abraham and his son. God asked him to kill him. At the last minute, he stops him, but he wants to make sure that he would do it before he stops him. So I guess, does that make Lloyd Bridges the goose god?
No.
Okay. I just thought if this were that parable, then at the last second he stops his hand.
I don't see the similarity between the two of them, really. He was testing Abraham's loyalty to God himself.
And I kind of feel like Beau Bridges more so than Lloyd is like, because I feel like Lloyd Bridges would have caved in to what the boy wanted, but it was Beau who was like, nope, he made a deal, he's got to stick to it.
Well, Lloyd Bridges didn't cave. He gave him his money back. He said, "No, you're going to kill this goose for me." He said, he also reiterated, we made a deal. He said, "You keep your money." And he's the first one that said, "You're going to do it."
So when he did go back and he offered Lloyd Bridges the money back, and I can understand giving him back his original $20, but then giving him money to go buy another goose was a sign of good faith. But it made me curious, and I just want to know if you know the laws of goose ownership, because this isn't a domesticated goose that was born on a farm. This is a wild, injured animal that was found. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of curious if this is like a possession is 9/10 of the law kind of thing. Like if the boy said, "Nope, changed my mind, I'm keeping the goose," and didn't even give the $20 back, could you take him to court? I mean, who's going to sue a kid over a goose? There's not a jury in the land. I don't think it was
about that either. So.
There's not a jury in the land that would side with Lloyd Bridges.
No.
Can you understand why this movie traumatized me as a 12-year-old boy?
Yeah.
It is. Oh, I didn't have any pets really at the time, mm-hmm. and if I had, that would have just been too much. Mm-hmm. You know, if you actually had a pet, you could super relate to it even more than I already did. Do you feel like I do? Like, these bullies were just a bit much for a wholesome movie like this. Like, they're from a Stephen King movie, the bullies are.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I mean, like, the way they're acting. It's like, these are like the bullies from It. You know, like how rough they were, how violent they were. Like, they're wanting to kill a boy's pet goose.
Yeah, I think that's just the nature of bullies back in the day. Like, they're more apt to do it, online and stuff. But like back then, that's the way they were. I think that's how we saw bullies as like very hardcore, like that. Growing up, they will fight you. You know what I mean? Like they're just like bad.
This is just such a wholesome movie. I was expecting like the kind of bullies that Opie Taylor had to put up with. Would say, "Hey, red-headed Opie, 4 eyes, stuff like that." But these kids, no, they want to kill a goose. They want to hold a kid and put green stuff on his head. What do they put on his head? Yeah. Moss or something? Algae? Yeah. Do they call it algae?
Yeah. And they're picking on a 12-year-old boy, and he's like, they're like 18. They're like seniors in high school. And but I mean, you've read The Outsiders. You've seen that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, this goes back to that kind of like violence.
Oh, I like that. These aren't bullies from a Stephen King movie. These are bullies
like
from
Midwestern,
The Outsiders. These are socials.
Yeah.
Or Footloose, the guy that wanted to die on a tractor playing chicken, like the original Footloose, not the remake.
I think it's also funny to go back and look at the movies back then where they had the token black guy. Like how many people do you think of that live in the Midwest like that on a farm and stuff, and then they have the token black kid and made him a bully.
Well, they had a token young black man and a token young black woman.
Yeah.
Because I guess because this is a small town, they must have been brother and sister. But
I don't think so.
The younger sister was a good kid, and the older brother was a bad kid.
Yeah, so I don't think they were like related. I mean, they may have been related, but I don't think they were brother and sister. But at first, I was like, oh, they're gonna make them like a little love interest because she and Travis seem to be like best friends. But then I thought, oh, think about the '80s. That was kind of like poo-pooed, looked down on, that they wouldn't make those two the love interest either. So but then they had the dopey guy that wore the overalls and was real kind of like dumb, like what I mean. Like, so it was weird.
He's the farm guy.
Yeah, it was just weird the people that they selected for what they selected for. So
now, in your opinion, the way that you judge it in this movie, is Beau Bridges a good dad?
No.
I'm with you. I don't think he's a good dad at all.
No.
But I think that the person who directed the movie and portrayed the role, thought that he thought that was an ideal of a good dad.
Yeah. No.
Oh boy.
Just the way he talked to the kid, and I did like that they respected their parents, because I remember that's the way we used to talk to ours. I don't know if you talk to yours that way, but that's the way I was raised. Where you say yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and when you talk to other people, when you talk to your neighbors or like other adults, you said yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You were like polite. You didn't talk back. Like none of them like talked back. I mean, you were really kind of like pushing it if you were doing that, but it took me back to a time when things were like a little more, it was strict, but then also it was kind of like, ooh, I wish they would have said something back, but it's just kind of, it's my way or the highway, firm, you know what I mean? I almost feel like Beau Bridges, if you didn't do what he said, he would beat you. I mean, it just sounds like he beat his kids the way he talked to them.
I'll be honest, I was very rarely around adults outside of school growing up. So no, I didn't have that whole yes sir, no sir. I did have a whole lot of don't talk at all when you're around them, but no, not the yes sir, no sir.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so just the way Beau Bridges was just talking to the youngest one, especially, you need to be a man. You need to, integrity. Even the way he talked to his wife, and his wife was still trying to be like, hey, maybe we should take it easy on him. I think the whole thing from the get-go, from Lloyd Bridges to Beau Bridges, like they set this kid up for failure. They set him up, and I don't know. I didn't agree with it.
Well, when I say the old man, I'm talking about Lloyd Bridges. Do you think he's a good or a bad person?
I don't think he's a good person either.
I think he's
I think his wife had to talk him into not.
Yeah, we're supposed to think he's a good person for deciding to let the boy keep the goose, but why do you wait to the absolute last second? It's almost like he was testing him and wanted to make sure he would pass.
Yeah.
And that's where I bring that Bible parallel in. Or maybe for folks who live a more secular life, like in Kingsman, where they had to raise the puppy. Then at the end, he was told, you got to kill your puppy. And then you find out that, no, you don't actually kill your puppy. You pull the trigger and there's blanks in the gun, but we have to know you'd pull the trigger. Well, Eggsy doesn't do it. Anyway, that's another movie. But it's a test. Will you kill someone you love if we tell you to? Because it's a loyalty test. And it almost feels like they're giving this boy a loyalty test. Like, is he going to grow up to be the kind of man we want in this community, or are we going to have to run him out of town?
Yeah. But also I feel like they were, okay, so this goose had a broken leg or had been shot or something, and that's why Lloyd Bridges couldn't bring himself to do it himself, and so he was just going to let somebody else kill this thing for him as an adult, but he wanted someone else to raise it for him, so he didn't want to have to do it himself, so he's going to let somebody else do it. I think that was another class thing too.
I never even looked at that aspect, but it's amazing all the messages this movie is sending that are definitely not authorial intent.
Yeah, that's why I think like he was too good to kill this thing himself, so he's going to give it to someone lower than him.
He didn't want the blood on his hands.
He's going to give it to the child, let the child raise it. Like he had to know that this kid was going to be get attached to it, and it set us up for that because of the way the kid was treated. Now, when he was in that PE class and he was the last one to be picked and he couldn't do what everybody was doing and he came back home and he was pouting and stuff, oh my God, I saw Sutton in that. And I was like, that is my boy right there. And he was laying there and he was like, oh, I just don't talk to me. I just can't do it. You know what I mean?
When you were talking about him making somebody else do the dirty work because he didn't want to lower himself to it or whatever, all I could think of is it's kind of like Charles Manson sending his underlings out to do the dirty work at Sharon Tate's house because he couldn't do it himself. He didn't have the stomach for it. That's great.
Yep. Well,
this movie is an allegory for the Manson family murders in California in the 60s.
Well, 70s, he was trying to cheer up this kid to give him some responsibility, I guess, and make him feel like he belonged and more mature like his brothers or whatever. So I think in a way it backfired. He ended up actually being more mature than his brothers were because he had sympathy for this animal. Yeah. And, and then the whole thing where he was like, he tried to get the money to give it back, plus interest. His brother taught him what interest meant, and he said, "Well, I want a little extra so I can, I need $35." He knew what his intentions were, and then when the guy said no, and I was like, "What are you thinking?" And then he came back home, and Beau Bridges, his dad, was like, "You're going to do it anyway because you said you were going to." Oh my God, that broke my heart though.
Did Beau Bridges' family, the Tilbys, something like that is their name? Was it their pigs that got into the old lady stuff? Or was
Yes.
So this boy has grown up where he's seen cute little piglets be born, grow up, and
probably be slaughtered.
So
yeah, but he wasn't responsible for them. He didn't raise them as
but I do still think that that's maybe a little bit of a story flaw, and there might be a little something like if you're going to grow up to live on a farm, you're going to have to learn not to get so attached.
Yeah.
So maybe there was some kind of lesson whether or not this kid has what it takes to be a farmer. But, where 40 years later, farms are all kind of bigger. I don't know that there are a lot of like the 1986 farmers depicted in this movie anymore. So I don't know if that's as relevant today as it would have been back then.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the piglets are probably born and in some kind of facility where there's multiple workers taking care of them, and it's not like one person raising them up like the old days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he had why would you take an animal that was hurt, give it to this kid to raise and make whole again? He even had the vet come and give the goose medication because because he had gotten hurt. He treated it as if it were his own, and then to just turn around and kill it. That was well, I didn't agree with that.
How did you like the ending where the goose flies off with the flock?
I thought that was actually a really nice touch there.
I think it is the most poetic ending. It's like Buck at the end of Call of the Wild, running off to be with his brethren, the wolves, and that sort of thing.
Well, this whole time they were trying to teach him how to fly. Well, if they taught him how to fly, what was he going to do after he learned how to fly? And those were probably his natural instincts, was to go with the rest of them.
Once the boy was allowed to keep the goose, I didn't want the goose to fly away when I was 12 years old. I was he finally gets to keep his pet. And the movie started with hunting. Yeah. So, as I said before, the only thing in my mind as a kid is why would you send him out to get shot by hunters when you could just keep him at your house?
Yeah. Well, you know that part where they go up to the top of the cliff and they throw him out and they were like,
I thought he was going to die.
I was waiting. I wasn't waiting for him to fall out. I was waiting to hear a gunshot and somebody was going to shoot him.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? That would have been just awful.
Did you have I'm sorry, I'm getting a little head here. What did you think of the food in this? This is the second time we have a primarily farm setting where I feel like we don't get a lot of farm fresh veggies. We don't get a lot of good food being shown.
No, we saw just a picture of them at the table, but not really a lot of the details of the table. We just assumed that it was the Thanksgiving dinner. The only food I really saw was at the beginning when they were racing through the vegetable garden and they were picking tomatoes as fast as they could.
And then at the very end, they bring out the ham and the turkey and stuff when Lloyd Bridges and the neighbor lady and they all come together and have a big Thanksgiving. Former adversaries are family once again.
Yeah.
So the Thanksgiving tie on this one's pretty obvious. The boys spends a year raising a goose.
No, it was 6 weeks.
I'm sorry, spent 6 weeks.
You see, you miss all this stuff. Is you're not listening. This is why, when I'm watching and I'm crocheting, I pay attention to what I'm hearing too.
You know far more about the growth rate of a goose than I do.
No, he says it in the movie. He says, you have 6 weeks until Thanksgiving. You have 6 weeks to raise this, and he's going to be a full adult at 6 weeks, and then we're going to kill him.
Oh, boy. So, yes. I just love it that they can't put Halloween in here. He has the goose steer in Halloween, but they got to go to a dance where everybody's dressed up like gourds, and somebody's dressed like a darn dining room table.
Well, and they're in the Midwest, too, and in that 6 weeks... Is it not cold? He's out there swimming in some swimming hole. And I'm like, what season are we in?
We're somewhere in the mountains in the Midwest.
In October, in November. He's swimming. And there's no there's no steam coming up off of the water. And it's weird.
Bullies are driving in a convertible with the top down, all that.
Yeah. I bet they filmed this in the spring or something.
I bet you they filmed it in California, so it didn't matter when they filmed it. I mean, it's probably filmed in the Hollywood Hills when you see those hills back there, somewhere around Disney Studios. Mm-hmm. Do you have a most memorable moment from this movie? filled with memorable moments?
Um, probably the most memorable for me was when they took him up to the cliff and went to. Actually, no, okay. A funny part that I keep thinking about was
Yeah.
when they stole the goose and they're riding around in that car and they get to the edge of the cliff, and I'm thinking like that I was waiting for that car to even go over the cliff when they said, "Don't go get the goose, don't go get him," and he went and got him anyway. And then I thought at the last second when he walked away that car, because you kept hearing it go, "Rrr," I thought it was going to go over, but no, he picks up that like the rim or the wheel cover,
Okay.
and yeah, and then like throws it like a frisbee, and I thought, well, maybe then it's going to hit the car and go over the cliff.
That's
so.
what I thought too. So that was my most memorable moment,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the standoff at the car on the cliff. And I was fully expecting. There was one part when I was a kid where I thought, oh, I know what's going to happen. They're going to Dukes a Hazard off the cliff, and the goose is finally going to fly. And
Yeah.
he's going to like fly away. And but then they're not going to kill 3 high school kids in a Disney movie.
No, you
so
never
that
know.
wasn't
But you
gonna
know, that
happen.
was the end of the bullies. We never heard about the bullies from there on out,
Well,
which I
that's
thought
because
was
Lloyd
weird.
Bridges threatened to tell their dads.
Yeah,
And that was solved the problem.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that Lloyd Bridges is a very old man who's lived in this town since before these kids were born. Why did he wait till now to say something to their dads?
Right.
Something tells me that the warning signs were there for a while.
Yeah.
The next question I have for you is, who do you think was the best character in this movie?
I think it was the son, Travis.
The main character, the
Yeah.
MC?
I think he was my favorite of all of them because he's the one that went through all of the emotions, and he's the one I could relate to with having a kid, you know, close to that age and going through those same things. So.
I think my favorite character when I was 12 is imprinted on me so that it's still my favorite character now, but it's Chester the Goose.
Yeah, okay. I
when
didn't
he's-
count him as a character, but yeah, sure.
When Chester is doing his shenanigans like a naughty puppy, and he's like he causes chaos downtown and stuff, I thought that was so cool. I
Yeah.
really thought that if you had a pet goose, that's what it would be like.
Yeah. How do they? And I kept thinking about, you know, how they say it's really hard to train animals to do stuff
Yeah.
on TV. I kept thinking about how hard was it for them to train this goose to do all the things they wanted it to do, or do they just capture it doing something and plug it in? You know.
The human characters all seem pretty one note and pretty stock, honestly. But I've never seen a goose like this in a movie.
Yeah.
And you know, whenever I watched like The Love Bug, Herbie's my favorite character. When you're a kid,
Yeah.
you know, I like the cat from Return to Witch Mountain. You know, I just
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
or
yeah.
the cat from space. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
cat from space. I like the cat. Did you see any themes beyond Thanksgiving? I mean, we've covered a whole lot of the like manliness and keeping your word and stuff. And we even picked up on some themes that were clearly not there. Like,
Yeah.
like it was a parallel to the Charles Manson murders.
Yeah. I think that's what they were trying to drive home was like integrity, keeping your word, loyalty,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
I
But
think the-
also like I think one could be like having sympathy and empathy for your fellow
A real
you know,
lack
fellow
of empathy
animals and
here.
like
Yeah.
but the kid is the one that had that. I think the kid was the one that taught them the lesson.
I like that the kid taught the adults a lesson
Mm-hmm.
because this movie seems like their theme is you got to keep your word no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real bad lesson for kids because adults will trick kids into making promises they shouldn't keep.
Yeah.
You know, so I just want to see what you think about your thanks grade. How much Thanksgiving spirit is in the Thanksgiving promise?
You know, it has a lot to do with like family and I don't know. I would probably say maybe a C. Just because even though they said a Thanksgiving promise, it's the promise to kill this goose for Thanksgiving for this guy. I don't think it really was based around Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna give it a C.
I think I'll give it a B. I do think that the whole spirit of what are you thankful for? Well, at the end, he's able to be thankful for his goose. I guess the family's thankful that they didn't have him kill the goose. I don't think it's great, but I'll give it a C plus. I talked myself out of a B. How about the turkey leg score? How good is this 1986 made-for-TV movie that you watched on YouTube from a VHS rip?
That would I recommend to people?
Yes. How many stars in the version of turkey legs?
I'd probably give it one turkey leg. I
Oh,
just
you
can't
really don't like it.
uh-uh. I did not. It just made me angry the whole time I was sitting there. Like it started out okay, and then I was like, ooh, I don't like the message. I mean, I don't know. I think it's very outdated, and so I don't think I don't know. I just the version I watched. Now maybe if I had watched a different one where I could see it a little bit better, I'm definitely gonna give it one because I just like it's not readily available. There's a reason why it's not out there for people to just find and watch.
My nostalgic feelings make
Mhm.
me want to watch the lowest quality version I could get because I always had really crummy TVs, bad reception, all that. So
Mhm.
I am going to give it 3 turkey legs
Mhm.
because I think it's unusual. I think a lot of people have not seen it. So it's going to pique your curiosity. And honestly, it's probably the best duck shenanigans that have ever been caught on film.
Goose
Ah,
shenanigans.
shoot, I did it again. Well, with that, I'm just going to say be thankful for what you got. Be even more thankful for the things you don't need. Uh, be thankful more than anything for movies. And we'll talk to you later.